Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Abdurrahman Nashnoush, and I'm the Vice President and Head of National Sales for Guidance Residential. I would like to welcome everybody to our first online careers webinar that we hold for 2015. It's no secret that Guidance Residential, alhamdulillah, have been doing very, very well, and we are going through organic growth phase where we need to basically hire in so many different regions and in so many different cities around the nation. Right now, Guidance is in about 23 different states, and our sales force is composed of about 33 account executives in the field in different pockets of the nation, in addition to another 10 account executives in the internal sales out of our corporate sales office here in Virginia. I'm going to save a lot of the details for Brother Amjad Qadri, who's going to conduct our presentation today and take you through the slides, basically explaining who Guidance is, what is our mission, what do we stand for, what do we do, and how we can, or we actually help the Muslim community in North America on daily basis, and to go over some of the features of our product and the benefits that our employees enjoy working for the family of Guidance Residential in the U.S. Amjad is our Vice President for training and business development. And without any further ado, I will actually turn the presentation to Amjad Qadri. Thank you very much again for joining us today. And I hope that you would enjoy and learn a little bit about Guidance so that you can have Guidance as one of your future choices for employment, inshallah. Amjad?
Thank you very much, Abdurrahman. Welcome, everyone, to our first career seminar of 2015. We're very excited to hold this because we had quite a number of people sign up, and we're looking to hire people all around the country. Alhamdulillah, as you'll see, we are in 23 states now, and we would love to get at least 1 or 2 people in each of those states. And inshallah, with that, I'll go ahead and begin. So, you're all here because you're looking for a job, and you want to join a company that you would be proud to work for, and it helps that the company that you are here today and that you are hoping to be a part of is Guidance Residential, which happens to be the #1 Islamic home finance provider in North America. We'll be talking briefly today about 5 points. Who are we? What's in it for you or me? What's in it for anyone that joins our company? About our program, how it works, our clients and our partners, and how most of our clients are like our partners, and we form a contract with them that keeps us a good customer, client, partner with us throughout the life of their financing, and how to apply today for a job with us. So we'll go right into it. Who are we? Guidance Residential is one of the oldest Islamic finance companies in the United States. When we started in 2002, we started with only 3 states. Alhamdulillah, since then, we've gotten up to 23 states. We've helped 8,000 Muslims buy homes and be able to have homes that they can own, because before Islamic finance was around, many Muslims, as most of you probably know, rented their homes and they would not buy. Now, alhamdulillah, we've been able to, because of our partnership and our investors, help Muslims for $3.3 billion. That's about 80% of the market, which clearly makes us the #1 Islamic home finance provider. And this was also recognized by Islamic Business and Finance magazine, because we're nominated as one of the best Islamic home finance provider in the whole world. So we're competing with institutions in Malaysia, in the Middle East, in the UK. Even though Islamic finance is fairly young in the United States, we were still nominated for that prize. One of the stories that I'd like to share here is when we first started, and this is something that many people don't know, alhamdulillah, when we got our 6 ulama together, and these are ulama that are Islamic finance experts from all around the world. They came to America, they sat down with 18 different law firms, and they went through the home laws in America, they went through the Islamic finance laws, and they said, which one of the ways that you can do Islamic finance will work the best? And they decided on a musharaka system, a partnership system. And the thing about that is, when we went to our investor, Freddie Mac, and we said, listen, this was late 2001. This is during the heyday of home financing, when home values are going up. Everyone's trying to buy a house and everyone's getting approved. We said, listen, Freddie Mac, you are a governmental institution. Your job is to help more people, more Americans buy homes, which also includes the Muslim population, which is slightly underserved. And we'd like to find a way to do it. And the only thing is, if something happens, you have to be willing to take a loss on the homes, and you can't make money from the late fees because these two things are not allowed within Islam. And would you be willing to be one of our investors? We know that right now you're making lots of money. We know home financing is going up, and this might not be something that is very, pleasing to you, but this is how we'd have to do it. And Freddie Mac, obviously, because they were making, a good amount of money then, they said, no, this is not worth it. They don't want to take on this risk. We were lucky in that right then, at that time, I believe that God puts people in the right place at the right time. There happened to be a Muslim attorney that was part of the Freddie Mac team, a Bangladeshi Muslim attorney, and he called us the next day and he said, listen, I know how important this is, and I know our mandate is to serve the Americans, and you guys are a large part of that population. Let's see what we can do to make this work. And alhamdulillah, since then, as you can see, we've been able to do $3.3 billion in financing. And as many of you probably know, there's restrictions when you try to do it any other way, as we've seen from some of the other entities that do Islamic financing around the country. Because of what we've been able to do, and because of the fact that Islamic finance held up well during the financial collapse that we saw in about mid-2009, I would say it was probably about the peak of it, we have been shown in most of these national and global media outlets. We had interviews on NPR, we've been featured in New York Times. Everyone wanted to know what were we doing that was different, that helped us survive the recession that we just went through, and helped us even thrive. And what we'll see is even the Vatican in 2009 recognized Islamic finance, and they said that Islamic finance, the way it's done, will help banks be closer to their customers and go back to the true meaning of financial services. So even the Vatican, alhamdulillah, recognized what we were doing along with the media outlets. So you guys are here to know what's in it for me, or what's in it for you. So what we offer at Guidance is increased visibility. Being the largest Islamic home finance provider in the United States, alhamdulillah, majority of the people in the country know us. We've increased our marketing through joint marketing opportunities with local real estate agents, where we will help print out brochures and postcards that have their information on there as well. And we pride ourselves in being able to get the leads out to our mortgage originators. Most of you are here to see what type of home financing, what type of origination jobs that you can do. And what we're looking for right now is more people to help more Muslims get into homes by helping them go through the application, take their application, find out if they qualify. And we pride ourselves in the fact that anyone can go onto our website and get pre-qualified in 15 minutes. And as soon as they're pre-qualified, that qualified lead gets out to you no matter where you are. And throughout the year, we try our best to increase your business. And the way we do that is we have a wonderful marketing team. And what they do is they have dedicated themselves to help increase the business throughout the year with new collateral, new banners, with new website advertising. All of this leads to people coming directly to our website and either pre-qualifying, filling out a form for more information, or calling our 866 number. And any of those things direct people and bring them right back to you. They call our phone number and they're calling from your area, then it will ring on your office phone or your cell phone if you happen to be traveling that day. What's our advantage? The clear one is brand recognition. Since we've been doing this, we make sure that we are out at all of the large Muslim conventions. We make sure we're out at most of the large events that are done locally. We try to make sure our name is out there. We try to make sure that we are advertising in a lot of the local mosques where we have at least a screen up on their TVs if they're advertising, or a banner up in their parking lot. So we make sure that we are visible, and as most of you that have come on today, you've probably seen this, which is why you're excited to join our company. We also make sure that we have large territories that we give all of our account originators, and the reason for that is we want to make sure that when you are doing work and you're out there, we want to make sure the leads come back to you and that you are able to reap the fruits that you have harvested. And alhamdulillah, we have been continuously growing. Since we started in 2002, as you saw, we started with 3 states. Now we have 23 states. But even outside of looking for people in these states, we're always hiring in headquarters as well to keep up with the steady rise of Islamic finance, and definitely with the steady rise of people recognizing what we're doing and being the industry leader. The benefits that you get are similar to what you would get with any large corporation. So anyone that thinks, oh, if I go into Islamic finance, I'm going to have to sacrifice this or sacrifice that, I can tell you that that's not true. We have friends and family discounts. These are special programs for any one of your friends or families that want to finance. We have a 401k plan, a health insurance plan, vacation allowance, and training. We want to make sure that all of our account executives, our home originators across the country have training so they know what the latest things are that's going on. They know all of the latest regulations that are changes. You have the ability to work within your community. So many of you that happen to be community leaders, or that were involved in MSA, or that were involved in your masjids growing up, this is a great opportunity to continue to do that, to continue to have the ability to be able to go to the dinners that we have in our communities, to be able to go to Friday prayers, and to continue to be part of the community as well as benefit from the community, because they are the ones that will be your customers. And many of the other benefits that you see, similar to owning your own business, that one is very, very unique, because as a mortgage originator, for the most part, when you're out in the field, you're setting your own schedule. You're going to meet some real estate agents in the morning. You're going to come to the office. You're going to get the paperwork you need. You're going to help some people take some applications. And, right before you go home, you might stop at a mosque, or you might stop at an office where there's a large group of Muslims, and then you'll make your way from there. You set your own schedule, so you have your own business. What you reap, what you farm, what you really put into it is what you get out of it. So this is somewhere where all the effort sometimes that you do in corporate America is not recognized, but here, when you make the effort, it's clearly recognized, and you get the benefits of it right away with the leads coming back to you. Alhamdulillah, also we have motivated and helpful colleagues. I can tell you, the whole time I've been here, anytime I call any of our salespeople, I have a quick question, I can't remember this regulation, does this work? Everyone is very, very happy to help you. And alhamdulillah, since we've been closing the volume that we have, and we've been doing 80% of the business, all of our team is very, very experienced. We've been doing this longer than majority of the Islamic finance institutions in America. What you'll also see is we have an excellent commission structure, and for this part, I'm actually going to turn it back to my colleague Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman has been with the company almost since the beginning, and alhamdulillah, when he was doing his introduction, he was being a little shy, but I definitely can tell you he knows the ins and outs of almost every part of the company. He's been doing this for over 9 years now, and any part that anyone has questions on, he's always ready to help. He's out there and around the country a lot to make sure that anyone that needs help can get it, and always introducing people to our leadership in the Muslim community as well. With that, I'll turn it over to Abdurrahman. If you want to unmute your mic, Abdurrahman.
Thank you very much, Amjad, and thank you everybody for your attention. Again, as you guys can see, that Guidance Residential is not just the leading company in this field in Islamic home financing, but actually our brand has a recognition beyond the US, really, where it enabled us to grow significantly. Now, what does that mean to you? I mean, before I would even think or consider joining any company, I would wanna understand what is the compensation plan that will be provided. What does this company have to provide for me as an individual, and what does that mean really to my future career and to my expansion as a person, or to my advancement as a person in my own career. But most importantly, people only succeed when their passion aligns with the passion of the company. So the most important question would be, you know, does my vision align with the vision of Guidance Residential? Does this product move me emotionally? Do I have the passion for it? Because that's really the motivator, and that's really the main driver to success. And as Amjad covered many aspects of the support that Guidance will provide its employees, or has been providing its employees from marketing perspective. Inshallah, you're going to see in future slides from an IT perspective, from vision, from recognition, from brand, from numbers. One of the most important thing is, how am I going to be able to put food on the table for my family? And that actually comes from the actual compensation. So this slide covers that part of it. Now, we have different types of employment. We have the full-time with base employment type. Then we have full-time commission-only type, and we have commission-only type of employment. What is the difference between the three? The difference is full-time with base salary. That means you have decided to work for Guidance Residential. That is your main bread and butter, and that's your main job that you wake up in the morning and you start doing, and you promote yourself and you work hard for what you get, and that's really your main focus. So those people, we call them full-time with base salary. There is another type of full-time people also, but they're not interested in getting the base salary, but they're actually interested in getting the some of the benefits package that we offer at Guidance Residential, and those we call full-time commission only. Then also the third type, which is commission only, and that's available for people who are, and we have a few of those, by the way, perhaps handling or holding another full-time job as engineers, as financial professionals, not in the mortgage industry, however, as real estate agents, as IT professionals, and so on and so forth. But since they are active in the community anyways, they are part of the community. They contact and they are in contact with people on a daily basis. This can be a nice side stream of income for them. So, but they do not have the full-time commitment to Guidance Residential. So we call those people commission-only employees. Now, what you see on the screen basically explains, the compensation for these three types. So the full-time AE with base salary and benefits package, for the first 90 days when they join Guidance Residential, they get paid, in addition to their base salary, 75 basis points. What is a basis point? Basis point is a fraction of 1%. So 1% is 100%, and basis point is a fraction of that. So 75 basis points is basically 0.0075, which in other words, or in simple terms, when somebody produces $1 million in production and financing, they get paid $7,500 on that for the first 90 days. So this is your starting point plus your base salary. Then for the next 90 days after that, it goes lower to 65 basis points. And the 65 basis points basically means that they get paid $6,500 for every $1 million they produce. Then after 180 days, which is the first 90 days and the second 90 days of employment, then they go back to the regular commission schedule, which we have a tier system, so that if you produce, let's say, 3 contracts or more with an average contract of, or total volume of, $750,000, you get X amount of basis points. And then if you go to a 4 contracts instead of 3, and you increase your volume a little bit to, let's say, $1 million, then you get more basis points on that, and that structure goes up to, I believe, 55 basis points in total compensation, plus your base salary. For people who choose to go with the route of full-time commission only, their tiers start a little bit higher than the one with the base. And the reason is because when you take the base into consideration and you calculate it based on the basis points, that also has basis points associated with it, so that your total compensation is still within line in the overall compensation. So I do not want to confuse people. And by the way, you can actually ask questions as we go, or you can email the questions. So your questions are welcomed. Now, the third tier, which is commission only, these people start most of the time with 50 basis points, and it goes up to about 60 basis points. And that is all the time, every day, every month, month in and month out. We do have a couple of examples for actually 3 people that come to my mind, one in California, one in New Jersey, and one in Florida. All of the 3 guys are very successful commission-only AEs, where their compensation and their production is almost equivalent to full-time people, and all 3 of them actually hold other full-time jobs. In fact, 2 of these guys, they have their own businesses, full-time businesses. One is in the insurance business, and the other one is in the real estate business and retail business. And then we have a third person in New Jersey who is a full-time engineer by profession. And all 3 guys produce high numbers, probably average between 3 to 4 contracts a month, where their side or commission only or side job or second job brings them an average of perhaps $4,000 to $6,000 in monthly compensation. So this is a very lucrative opportunity for the right people. And some of the people who are focusing on this as full-time with base salary, I know that we have a few AEs who are making well over 6 figures actually. So the future, or the compensation, the financial reward for this type of employment opportunity is huge, and our turnover is extremely low. You'll be surprised when you compare the turnover, which, attrition basically, when people leave, because it's very lucrative from a spiritual perspective, from a financial perspective, and from a career perspective as well. Now, for the licensing, we have a policy where, because the licensing upfront costs some money, we have a policy that you pay for your licensing cost upfront. The minute that you close your first deal, you get all of these expenses reimbursed back to you. I do not want to get into too many details with this because I do not want to run out of time. But please, email your questions, or go ahead and ask the questions if you have any, and I'll be more than happy to cover those for you, inshallah.
Thank you, Abdurrahman. I greatly appreciate that. One thing I wanted to say is we want to make sure that anyone that we hire, that they get up into the 6 figures as soon as possible. That's something that we strive our goal in, making sure all of our salespeople are up there. Because we don't just want you to come here and think, hey, is it going to work? Am I going to like this? But we want you to come here, be successful, and be happy that you're working for us. And so, alhamdulillah, because of that, we want to make sure all of our AEs get to 6 figures as soon as possible. And as Abdurrahman explained, with our BIPs being what they are, it's easy to do that because we increase them tremendously in the beginning to give you an advantage. With that, I'd like to highlight some of the other advantages of working for us. You have the iPad integration customer service system. This is something unique that we came up with that a lot of people in the industry, even some of the leading non-Muslim mortgage vendors don't have. It's a system that's on your iPad, and it makes it very, very easy for you to take an application anytime and anywhere you are. So let's say you happen to be at a masjid, and we'll see some examples of this coming up, and there's someone that knows that you work for guidance, or you happen to be at, even a friend's house for a dinner or a party or a wedding. They're like, hey, listen, I went over the weekend, and actually just this morning, because most weddings are, usually on the weekends, I went this morning and I saw a house. I really, really liked it. They asked me for a pre-approval letter, and I really want to make sure that I can make an offer on this, and they won't let me do it without that. Is there something you can do? And you can easily pull out your iPad. You can go to a car and get it. And within 15 minutes, you can email them a pre-approval letter, and they'll be very, very happy with you. And you'll see some of the examples from our employees in a few slides coming up. One of the other advantages, you get personalized marketing material. Your name, your contact information on postcards that are always being changed. We make sure they're fresh. We make sure they're up to code. We make sure that it's something that the community will be attracted to pick up. And this is something that our marketing department works very, very hard on. We have a presentation that you can do right from your iPad, which talks about the basics of Islamic finance. We have custom video presentations, one of which that you're going to see here shortly, that also sometimes, you know, you've explained it to a couple customers a couple times, they're just not getting it, and you're like, you know what, we have a really good video that explains this FAQ or explains the answer to this, and we've done quite a few now, and you'll get to see one of them coming up. And as I mentioned before, we have material that we take to all of the large Islamic conventions. We have large banners, we have post-up banners, and we make sure that, you know, they have nice Muslim faces on there, that they are very eye-catching, so that when people are there, they're walking through the convention center, they see our brand, they see our pictures, and they come talk to one of you, hopefully someone that applies that's with us on the call. Here are the account executive feedbacks. As you can see, we have a few people that have given feedback. The first one is, you know, one of our corporate AEs, someone that's in our corporate office in Virginia. And what they had is they were able to pre-approve someone in 15 minutes. And it's a similar situation to the one that I was just talking about. She happened to be somewhere, and someone called and they said, you know what, I really need a pre-approval. I just saw a house. I want to make an offer. She didn't have her computer with her, but she had her iPad, and she said, okay, give me a little bit. She pulled out her iPad, took full application, and alhamdulillah, that person's offer was accepted. In this market where we see, you know, the housing market rising again, you'll have a lot of multiple offer situations. And then you can see on the second one, you know, from one of our Connecticut AEs, one of our account executives, you know, he had a person that was on the phone, and they also needed a pre-qualification letter right away. And he was able to get it to them. He was on his way back from actually Friday prayers, and a customer called, and he was going near their house, and he said, listen, I can stop by and do this right now if you want. He was able to stop by their home, again, take the full application, take the pre-qualification, and the customer was very, very excited because he got service right at his house. It was convenient to our account executive to do so because he was able to do it right from his iPad. And the customer continues to say great things because he felt like this was really service that he got that was personalized to him. And then the last one, again, one of our corporate AEs, he's just talking about our GIO system, which is our system that helps our account executives, even if you're brand new to the mortgage industry, it walks you through the application process. And what he mentions in the full quote is he says, you know, he had a customer that didn't want his credit run, but wanted to see if he qualified for a house. So because our system can do that, he was able to go through, see if the customer qualifies based on the information that he gave. The customer qualified. He actually found something that he liked. He called back the next day, and they were able to move him to application. And what he said was what came from his running his credit and everything was very similar to what he did before that, even without running the credit, which was a wonderful way to give the customer a good feeling that, you know what, I am qualified and I can go out and look for something, and once I run credit then I'll know for sure. But this gave him the surety even before running his credit. With that, I want to talk about our program. And you know, sometimes talking about something is not the best way to do it. Sometimes showing it is the best way. And so what I'm going to do is let you guys watch one of the videos that I was talking about earlier, and this should give you a good idea of how we work. If anyone has questions, by the way, on the left-hand side of the screen, you should see Got Questions, and on the bottom, you'll see my email address, amjad.khadri@guidanceresidential.com. I'm going to repeat it one more time, and I'll just spell it out for those that can't see it. It's Amjad, A-M-J-A-D, .khadri, Q-U-A-D-R-I, @guidanceresidential.com. We'll take all of the questions at the end. So please email any questions that you have as you're going through, or email them at the end, and myself and Abdurrahman will stay on and we'll continue to answer questions. With that, I'd like to get the video started and give you guys a good idea of how our program works.
You're a potential homeowner, and you need to understand how home financing works and what types of risks are involved in the process. For that, we need to take a closer look. The current financial system works like a factory that sells money for more money. When you go to purchase a home, a traditional bank will happily lend you the cash you need, add interest, and they'll even pass along all the inherent risks of home ownership to you as a bonus. So in the event you fall victim to a natural disaster, eminent domain, or a foreclosure, the burden to repay the full loan amount falls directly on you, with no one to help shoulder the load. Beyond its obvious shortcomings, lending and borrowing at interest is also in direct opposition to what all monotheistic faiths preach. There is, however, an alternative. Guidance Residential's declining balance co-ownership program is rooted in the traditional Islamic belief that money has no intrinsic value and thus can't be sold at a profit. The program is a non-lending method to facilitating home ownership. Through Guidance's co-ownership agreement, you purchase the home of your choice by entering into a diminishing partnership wherein your obligation is simple. You agree to buy out Guidance's shares while also paying a fee for using the portion of the property you do not yet own. As your ownership increases over time, the portion of your monthly payment dedicated to this rental condition decreases. What makes this better? You can fully buy out Guidance's shares at any time without a prepayment penalty. If you're late making a payment, you don't need to worry about the typical 5% late fee that traditional banks charge and profit off of. Our reminder fee of $50 or less covers our administrative costs and never compounds. In the event of default, Guidance will only reclaim its share from the sale of the property, whereas other institutions typically pursue you for any proceeds not covered by the sale of the home. Should the property be lost due to a situation involving something outside the two parties, like eminent domain or a natural disaster, Guidance will share equity loss equal to the percentage of our ownership. With Guidance Residential, you don't have to worry about the worst-case scenario. We're here to share the risk and benefits of owning a home with you. It's something we like to call modern finance with timeless values. Visit guidanceresidential.com to learn more about this consumer-friendly way to finance a home without compromising your ideals.
Now that you guys have an idea of how and what we do, I wanted to highlight some of the benefits of our co-ownership program or our partnership program. The first one is non-recourse commitment. In all of our contracts, we have a clear non-recourse commitment. And in some states in the United States, this is already law, where all the contracts have to be non-recourse. But in over 40 states, that is not a law. So right now in Florida and Arizona, we have people that had bought homes. I'm talking about the non-Muslim market, the non-Islamic finance market, where they bought homes and they went to the home and their home prices were about $300,000, $400,000 when they bought it. But when the recession happened, their values dropped. In a lot of cases, their values dropped to about half. And so what happens is most of these homeowners, they owe about $300,000 on their home financing. And then when the values dropped, they owed about $150,000, but they were still making payments for $300,000. They got into a hardship. They couldn't make the payments anymore. They ended up having to walk away from the home. And what happens when the bank sells the home for $150,000 when they're owed $300,000 is that 5-6 years later, now that people are picking themselves back up, the recession has slowed down, they're going to buy another house, they find out they still owe $150,000 to this bank. With all of our guidance contracts all throughout the country, we have a non-recourse clause. We are a partner with individuals in the house. We set this up as a trade transaction, which is how it's supposed to be Islamically. So if something happens and someone is in a hardship and they're in a similar situation that I described, then they do not owe the difference. That's something that we take as a business loss. Whereas right now in Florida and Nevada, many of these homeowners are shocked to find out that they still have this outstanding balance. They can't go buy another house even for $150,000 because they still owe that, and they need to pay that off first. The second thing that Islamic finance allows is no late payment fees. And basically what that is in Islam, you are not allowed to take advantage of someone when they're in trouble. So if someone has a situation where they can't make a payment for a month or something, then they are allowed to miss that payment, and we will not accumulate that payment. What many conventional institutions do is they charge you a percentage of your payment, and they add it back to the balance that you owe the bank. what we did and what the scholars had asked us to do is find out how much it costs to administer that payment when it comes in late. So how much does it cost to get someone to recognize that it was late, to see when the payment comes in, to apply the payment correctly, to mail them reminders, to get someone to call to find out what's going on. And what we found out back in 2002 when we first started, or 2001, when even before we started, is when a third-party auditing company came in, they said it cost $50 to do that. And we've left a one-time administrative fee on anyone that's ever late with us of $50, even though if an auditor came in now, that there's a very good chance that the cost of doing that almost doubled, but we still leave it as a one-time $50 fee. The other benefit is at any time you can buy out our partnership, and there's no prepayment penalty. So if you start off with a home that you were buying that was $100,000, you put down 5%, and we put down 95%, and in a couple of years, one of your children graduates, gets a beautiful bonus from their work, and they're like, Mom, Dad, I really want to help you. I want to pay off your home financing. And if anyone's looking for a career and they come over to us, inshallah, you'll be able to make enough money the first year as well, where you'll be able to do this for your own parent. And what you do is you say, here it is. And at that point, they would not owe more than what their partnership amount is, which could be about $90,000 in a couple of years. And they pay it off. There's no prepayment penalty, and that's all they owe, and then the house is completely there. And then, as I mentioned, in eminent domain or natural disaster, there's shared risk. We like to treat our clients like our partners. And as in the beginning of the process, they are customers, they are clients, but as we move along, they end up becoming our partners legally and also in terms of the way we deal with them. And what you'll see is in the mortgage industry, if anyone is a current LO where they're at in their state, you notice that a lot of times you have no communications. The LOs are not talking to their real estate agents. If we have any real estate agents that are on the line, then you know this as well. We have loan originators that are caring, that treat you like their own brother, that they will make sure that they work hard to understand your situation. So what you see out there where you can't trust the LO, they're hard to understand, it's painful, it's a confusing process. Since we've been doing this now for 13 years, we've been able to streamline the process, and we have experienced people that will walk you through and hold your hand through the whole process. And what you'll see is that our advantage is that the process is simple. Everything that we do, it's clear and consistent communication with yourself, and obviously after getting your permission as a client with your real estate agent. Our turnaround times are industry standard, or less than industry standard. We try to turn around files as quickly as possible. We have, in times where it was definitely needed, been able to close a file in 7 days or 10 days. Our average turnaround time is 21 business days. Our account executives will explain every step of the process on their way, and you see many of them, and you'll see them in your communities, you'll see them in your mosque, and you guys, when you join us, inshallah, you'll be seen in the mosque. So these are people that they know that they can trust because they see on a regular basis. A summary of the benefits for working with us: we're competitive. Many people tend to think that Islamic finance is a lot more expensive than conventional finance. I can tell you that that was true when we first started, but after that, ever since then, Islamic finance is on par. Every week we issue rates on our website that are compared to Wells Fargo, a local community bank, a credit union, and a couple of other institutions, and every time you'll notice that we are either the best rate in the market or we're right in the middle, and the misnomer that's out there that Islamic finance is more expensive is just not true anymore. We're consumer friendly. We have great technology that helps you help your clients wherever you are. We are reliable, and we continue to grow, which is one of the main reasons why we're in front of you today. We want you to join our growing team. With that, again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to send it to amjad.qadri@guidanceresidential.com. You'll be able to see that email on the left-hand side of your screen, and the Muslim Matters/live page. And if you want to apply, I would highly encourage you to send in your resumes at career@guidanceresidential.com. I can tell you that, you know, everyone that applies, we try our best to make sure at a minimum you get a phone interview. We want to hire people yesterday. So if you're thinking, oh, how long is this process going to take? Am I going to be able to wait till they ask something? Am I going to be able to, how many rounds of interviews? The process is not that hard. We try to interview people the same day that we get resumes. We try to at least do a phone interview, check their qualifications. Obviously, everyone has to be licensed and they have to pass their tests, but this is something that we have people that are right out of college and people that have retired and decided to join us as a second career, and they've been able to pass the test, so it's not something that is daunting. With that, I'm just checking if we have questions that have come in. Abdurrahman, if you want to answer some of these. The first question that we got is, how many people work for Guidance now?
I'm not sure if yes, I am unmuted. The total people that are working for Guidance residential here in the US is probably around 100 to 110. That's just an estimate. But if the question is for people that are within the sales organization, we have, like I mentioned earlier, around 33 sales associates or account executives around the nation in about 23 different states, in addition to 9 internal sales people. And I believe last week we just hired 5 more account executives in different pockets or different clusters around the nation as well. So that makes the sales organization alone to be in the mid-40s number, basically.
Okay, the next question that's come in is, can you in detail explain the difference between a corporate account executive and a account executive again? So I think what they're talking about is someone that is not in Virginia. So our corporate office is in Virginia, and then in all of the other states, like Chicago, New Jersey, we have offices, but this is what's called a field account executive. So Abdurrahman, if you want to just explain the difference between the two.
Sure. The internal account executives, the model is that they receive a lot of the leads from people who apply online or people who actually call the 866 number directly. In addition to some of their activities on Fridays and around the weekends within our backyard, which is basically the states of Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. So they are in the office usually 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until about 6 p.m. or so. But just to kind of clarify that this is really not your average job that's from 9 to 5. This is almost like you are franchising or building your own business from Guidance Residential. If you think about it, it's almost like Guidance Residential is the franchise, and people who join Guidance are the franchisees, where basically in their own market they actually build their own business around the community, which is really the main workload that our guys in the field do. So most of them work out of their homes, or if we have an office in the region, they perhaps work out of the office or are associated with that office. And then, you know, basically they attend community events, they attend Jum'ah prayers, they build bridges with the leaders in the community and the imams in the masjid. They have regular visits to the Islamic centers around around the nation or around their cluster, basically. So they are in the relationship building type of career, and they build their business slowly until they build enough clientele that sustains their referrals for more and more, and you know, growth every year actually. So this is really the difference between the two. Corporate sales guys or internal sales, they work out of the corporate office here in Virginia, and field guys, they work out of their homes or within their community as their full-time or part-time job.
Okay, we have another question here, Abdurrahman. Someone wants to know if we have any other jobs that are non-sales jobs available, like accounting or finance jobs. I wasn't sure if we had any of those at the moment. I know that we have hired in the past for those, but do you know if we have any current openings in those?
Because we are expanding, yes, the answer is yes. or the short answer is yes. I do not know exactly in which departments, but I know, for example, in the accounting department, they were looking for somebody to hire. In the operations, definitely because we are going through a lot of growth. We are going through a lot of growth. There are some jobs. The best thing to do is apply through careers@guidanceresidential.com or through our LinkedIn page, and your resume will be forwarded towards the appropriate department. And based on their needs and based on the qualifications or the credentials on your resume, the match, inshallah, will take place. I'm going to take this opportunity very quickly and answer a couple of questions that came through email. One of the questions here is, can you explain the compensation structure again? The compensation structure, like I mentioned, in short, when you join Guidance Residential, for the first 90 days, we have an incentive that's higher than the regular incentive by paying about 75 basis points for any deals that close within the first 90 days, and 75 basis points is basically 0.075 of the multiplied by the actual volume dispersed. So out of $1 million, you will make $7,500. The next 90 days, you will make $6,500 because that compensation will go down to 65 basis points. And after the first 180 days, basically you will be on the normal schedule for either a full-time with base, full-time commission-only, or commission-only employee. The commission-only employee starts at 50 basis points, which is $5,000 for each $1 million closed, and it goes up to about 65 basis points, which is around $6,500 for each $1 million closed. The actual schedule or the tiers for the compensation are based on two things. They're based on the volume, total volume dispersed, as well as the number of contracts brought to the table. So let's say that you close 3 deals, which average or in total volume around $750,000. Given an estimate of $250,000 average contract size, you will end up making about around $4,000 or so, and the schedule or the tiers go up so that the more that you bring to the table, the more money or the more commission you will end up making, in addition to your base salary if you are full-time with base. And the full-time with no base has higher tiers, given the fact that there is no base salary, and then commission only has even a higher tier structure, because there are many professionals who are looking to do this as part-time, like I mentioned earlier, who are active in their community, active with their masjid, attending events anyways, going to the masjid for Maghrib and Isha, and perhaps every Jum'ah, and so on and so forth. And once they get to promote the product and promote themselves as the guidance people, they attract people and they attract business, and they can actually make very respected side income in addition to whatever full-time opportunity or employment they actually hold.
With that, Abdurrahman, there's a couple of other questions that we have over email here, and I wanted to get through a few of them because I know our time will be ending soon. Someone wanted to know if they don't have any sales experience, or if they haven't done sales before, can they join Guidance? And as Abdurrahman had mentioned earlier, we have people from every background. We have some engineers, we have some IT people. I myself, I was in the IT field for about 10 years before I joined Guidance. Abdurrahman, I think, was in administration and business administration before he joined Guidance. So we have Muslims that come from all different types of and different areas. And the second question, Abdurrahman, I'm going to let you answer this. Actually, a couple of people asked this, which is a loan origination license, what is required?
Loan origination license, you are required to complete 20 hours of prerequisite education requirement. After that, you need to take a national exam, and if you pass the national exam with 75% ratio, then you will be asked to take a state exam in the respective state wherever you are living or wherever you will be originating. And again, you need to pass the exam by 75% ratio. They give you, for the national exam, 4 different tries. If you fail the first time, you have to wait for 1 full month, and then 1 month, waiting 1 month until the 3rd exam. After that, it's actually 6-month wait. And then we need to do a background check So there has to be a clean background, no felonies, no misdemeanors, except for perhaps traffic violations and such. Also, we will check the credit to make sure that the credit is decent, and if there are any issues with the credit, there will be, some explanation process, and once you pass that, you will go through the process of getting approved. You will be sponsored by Guidance Residential as the broker or as the lender, and then you will acquire your license from the respective state after that. In terms of background for sales, as Amjad mentioned, we do not require that, but we require people who are serious about what they want to do, people who can align with the vision and the passion of what Guidance Residential do on a daily basis, and people that are actually connected within their own communities. And that's really the combination that's needed for success. Somebody who's self-motivated, who looks at this as a new opportunity, not a job, but a true career opportunity, a true self-employment opportunity. If you want to be a self-employed person and you're looking to do that as somebody else's dollar, I think this is the right opportunity for these type of people. And we have many, many examples to share. And actually, we can also give some phone numbers for some of our AEs to call them and to ask them questions about that. I'm going to go very quickly over one more question that came through the email. In your benefits package, do you allow your 401k to go through Amana funds? We do not have Amana funds as one of our, managers. However, there is a way where you can manage your 401k through a broker, and that process we have it allowed, and I believe we have at least one of our AEs who is doing it through Amana funds through that process.
It's called self-directed, and this is an option that's available at some companies. And it is something that we've been talking to HR about, is trying to get them on mutual funds as one of the options in our 401k. We have another question here. What applications, databases, etc., will we have access to help us succeed? And just so you know, when we mentioned it earlier, we have a system that we've developed in-house that makes it very, very easy when someone asks, how much experience do I need if I don't have sales experience? What our application does is it helps you be able to take an application from someone with confidence, even if you've just started. Obviously, we take you through an extensive training that we do at headquarters in Virginia. We do sample applications with you before you go back out to the field if you're going to be in one of the other states. And on top of that, our application that's right on iPad makes it simple so that it takes you through each step. So even if you're just starting out, that it will help you, guide you through it. And sometimes even experienced AEs, they might forget something, and it pings them, it gives them a pop-up saying, you know what, that doesn't work, this is the reason why. And it helps even the experienced AEs sometimes when they're trying to do something, just be able to stay within track. So, when someone says, what will we give to you to help you succeed, we try to give you all the technology tools that are out there. And as I mentioned before, we have a dedicated marketing team for our sales team where they're always making new collateral, they're always updating and advertising on the internet, and anytime we get leads through those, they go directly back to you. And this is the way that we help all of our AEs make sure, account executives, make sure that they're making at least 6 figures. One of the other questions that we had, Abdurrahman, here was someone wanted to know about the video. How can you see the video again? On YouTube, if you do a search for Guidance Residential, you'll see our page, and you'll be able to go and watch several of our videos. I think maybe we'll also see if we can get it put on the Muslim Matters /live page, so that anytime you go there, you'll be able to see it from there as well. Another question here, we already talked about it. Someone else was asking about if they're not in the sales field now, will they be able to apply for us? We got a question that just came in. Are we currently hiring in either NYC or New Jersey for any positions? We absolutely are hiring.
We are hiring everywhere. I'm sorry to cut you off, Amjad. I think that we are about to get cut off because we are reaching our time limit. But I just really wanted to wrap this up by saying, please, please, please do not lose the opportunity. Go ahead and apply through careers at Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And what Abdurrahman was saying, which you can see on your left-hand side and what you can see on your screen as well, is please apply, whether it's for an account executive position, whether it's for a sales position, at careers at guidanceresidential.com. And then you have 2 phone numbers there. If anyone has urgent questions that they would like to ask answered over the phone, feel free to call me. My phone number is there first, the 866 number with extension 291. And then someone was asking, what equipment or supplies do we have? We provide everyone with an iPad with our software on there so that you can get going right away, which also has a very unique app that we developed that helps you explain how Islamic finance works to someone that's right in front of you. As Abdurrahman was mentioning, someone asked about NYC and New Jersey. What I'd like to say is we're hiring almost in every state that we're in. So we're in 23 states, which again you can find on our website, and we're hiring in all of them. I know right now in New Jersey, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Texas, Michigan, all of our bigger markets, Ohio, Minnesota, we're looking to hire, Florida, Tennessee. So whatever state you're in, we're looking to hire. We recently had someone come on. He wasn't in one of the states that we do business in, but we helped him so that he wanted to come and work for us. So he ended up coming to us in our Florida area. As Abdurrahman also mentioned, I want to say that if at any time someone wants to talk to any of our current people that work for us, we open it up. Alhamdulillah, many people have been working with us for 10 plus years now. They'd be happy to help you. They'd be happy to explain to you how it feels to work here. I know we have about 3 minutes left here, Abdurrahman, if you want to add some comments, and I'll look for more questions.
Thank you very much, Amjad. Just wanted to, again, reiterate the fact that we are hiring everywhere. We are growing, alhamdulillah, rapidly and organically. We do not just claim to be the fastest growing Islamic finance provider in the US without having the backing of that, because we actually do have the backing of that, alhamdulillah. We've had one of our best years in production last year in 2014. We are on the trend of having another record year this year, alhamdulillah, just finishing the first quarter of the year with almost $15 million ahead of the aggressive budget that we have already. So, when we say that we are the leader in the industry and we are growing fast and rapidly, and we are truly the fastest growing Islamic finance provider, perhaps not just in the US really, but I'm not exaggerating when I say around the globe. So this is a unique opportunity for everybody who is looking to start a progressive career in an industry that keeps growing year after year. I believe the trend of the Islamic finance growth globally is about 16.5% year after year. You, by joining Guidance Residential or by considering Guidance Residential, you are actually considering an exciting career with an exciting company, with the leader in the industry, and you will be positioning yourself in the right place at the right time as we continue, inshallah, to grow. Our plan is to become a $1 billion annual producer in about 5 years' time. $1 billion. That is extremely aggressive and extremely realistic as well, alhamdulillah, with the results that we have. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Please, once again, continue to send your questions to Amjad Qadri's email or call our numbers, and or just call us directly in the company. And once again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And we look forward, inshallah, to hearing back from you.
We have one